My lovely Leos, this is your horoscope for May 2025. Now, first part of May will be a little bit bumpy one because of full moon. That will be a little bit difficult to navigate, but I will help you out here. So stay with me until the end. And second part of May will be much better. It seems like universe will be rewarding you guys for patience. Now, let's begin from the start of the May 4th, we have Pluto going retrograde, meaning slowing down, moving backwards. Now, Pluto moving backwards in your house of marriage, in your house of relationships with all other people. Now, Pluto will retrograde until October 14th. So from May until mid of October, you will have sort of retrospective, a little bit slow motion of Pluto in your relationship houses. Maybe during this period, there will be second act of something that you've started, let's say, maybe some relationship, or maybe you've been already thinking about some relationship, how to evolve it further, if that is your case, or how to, let's say, stop it. For example, you are in a relationship, unhappy, let's say marriage, and you've been thinking about to move forward in your life, let's say, like by getting divorced, for example, or separated, or vice versa. Let's say that you are in a long-term healthy relationship, and now you've been thinking if you are ready to take the next big step in your relationship, like getting married or having babies, like making a family. It all started back in November when Pluto moved into your seventh house for the next 20 years. Now, Pluto is a slow moving planet, so it just moved until third degree of your seventh house. So now it will retrograde, move backwards until first degree, from third until first. So if you have placements, and especially those of you who are born beginning of Leo season, you will feel this retrograde the most. You will have sort of this retrospective, reflective journey until October. You will have time, and there might be some situations going on within those topics, like relationship topics. If it's not about marriage or love, it can be about your business. For example, whether to stay in this company or not, or a relationship with your manager, for example. How is it going on? Is it on a fair basis or not, if you are treated unfairly, all these things. Now, seventh house is also house of enemies that we know face to face. This topic might be also, if there is some situation there, for example, lawsuit, or like you are involved in sort of a legal case, or opponents or competitors if you're in business, those are seventh house of people. So those relationships will go under huge transformative, let's say, shift, and it's more subtle sort of effect of this Pluto retrograde. Now, Pluto naturally rules your fourth house of family. It can be also family relationship, like mostly relationship with your husband or wife, or with whom you are for a long term already, like in a romantic or business relationship, my dear Leos. May 12th, we have this bumpy moon, full moon, a bit difficult one, because this will be shocking one. Now, full moons are about conclusion. They bring conclusion to situation, or they put some spotlight into your fourth house of family and real estate, whatever you own in terms of properties, for example, fourth house. Now, why it will be surprising one? Because Uranus, planet of surprises and big shocks, it loves to do that, will directly oppose this tender full moon. Now, opposition is not a sweet aspect, let's say. It's not easy to handle, and it mostly manifests in the realm of relationships again. You see, now those of you who are born 14th of August, plus or minus 5 days, you will feel this full moon the most because it's hitting 22nd degree. Now, there could be some shocking information or shocking ending, like culmination, conclusion happening in your real estate matter. For example, all of a sudden there might be, if it's like in a good way to play out, then if you've been trying to sell your apartment or house and it was long time not selling because of these retrogrades. Since the beginning of this year we had a whole bunch of retrogrades which finished in April, and now this full moon might bring sudden news that your apartment is getting sold, for example, or house. Or it can be that your father might announce all of a sudden. For example, it can be related to some of your family members, like father or mother, because full moon is happening in your mother's house and Uranus is in your father's house. So either of these two people might announce their I don't know, relocating somewhere, like moving out, or maybe they're getting divorced, for example, and it might shock you, or like splitting the family, or there might be some changes going on in their life, so it will send shockwaves, actually, like surprising news. And it can be also your own husband or wife. You've been thinking, let's say you are living happy life, but then they might all of a sudden announce that, let's say, let's get divorced or let's get separated, or maybe to relocate somewhere. For example, your husband or wife, they got a job offer all of a sudden, and it will be big surprise that they're gonna move somewhere, and that surprise you won't it won't be so welcoming, seems like, by you. And but in general, whatever will be happening around this full moon, I call it something abruptly finishing, but then it's for the, in the long run, it's for the good thing. At the moment it will be happening, it might not seem so. You might resist all these changes, and you might not like the big surprise coming, big news coming in, but in the long run it will be beneficial. So you should remember this thing, because you will have support from the universe in the face of North Node, Destiny Node, and Saturn, both of them located in your financial house, and they will send amazing beam to that full moon, and plus mitigate Uranus's surprise sort of, let's say, bad shocking moment kind of effect. They will try to make it less shocking, because they will send both of them amazing beams. And North Node is about destiny, and it's making trine to that full moon, and Saturn also. Now Saturn naturally rules your sixth house of work, and seems like you might, if you going to relocate somewhere, if you're going to change like your apartment or house. For example, your landlord announces that they are selling this apartment, so you need to find somewhere else to rent, for example. Or there might be going on something related to real estate that you need to maybe start renewing something, changing something inside, or you might find out that it become moldy, some corners of your apartment, and you need whole reconstruction of this pipe systems and everything. All of a sudden all this news might come in, depending on your natal chart. I'm just giving you some examples. So, but then you will have the money to fix all those things, and seems like you will have the resources, and you will have the support from universe to fix all that thing. Now, if you've been planning to buy apartment or real estate, again, this time you might close the deal. And even banks will be so supportive and cooperative. They might suddenly award you this loan that you want that you apply, that you want to get, into buying apartment or house or any type of property. Now, Pluto, ruler of this full moon, will be in argument, sharp argument with Mercury. Pluto is located in your house of seventh house of all other people's relationship, and also your husband and wife relationship. And Mercury will be located in your 10th house of social status and career. Seems like there will be ongoing sort of arguments related to your own career versus what your future husband and wife plans, sort of your mutual plans sort of cannot match. They don't go in the same direction for some of you guys. For some of you, it might be it's about their career, like you're not happy with what your better half is doing in terms of life calling. Or it might be they are not happy what you are doing, what is your vision. So anyhow, or there might be the consideration in general about the status of this relationship, whether you are taking it to marriage or whether you're taking it to divorce, or where to move further, sort of this relationship. What is the future of this bond between you and that other person? My dear Leos, it seems like there will be sharp arguments going on around this 12th of May. Anyhow, whatever happens, so you remember, in the long run, it's beneficial. Fourth house is also house of mother. As I said, maybe it's in their life something going on, like you might find out that they are quitting their job, or maybe they're losing their job. All in all, something related to your family, either to real estate going on here, and also citizenship. Now, if that is your case, that you've been waiting for a passport or citizenship news, this full moon might bring the news, and seems like it will bring sort of mixed news. You might need to maybe provide additional documents, but then the news that you will be getting sort of citizenship, but with that additional document. For example, May 25th, big thing happening, Saturn changing signs. Now Saturn is moving into your 9th house until September 1st. Now from end of May until September, you will have a preview of what this Saturn will bring while it will be transiting your 9th house for the next 3 years. Starting from next year, Valentine's Day. Exactly on that day in 2026, it will go back into your 9th house, but after September, it will retrograde, means moves backward into your 8th house, but then it comes back on Valentine's Day to stay for the next 3 years. Now, Saturn, I call this planet strict teacher. It teaches us how to be strong, how to overcome, let's say, some problems and issues, some daily tasks. And also Saturn, planet of hard work and responsibilities. It brings responsibility wherever it comes on your shoulder, and it's also about restrictions. Whatever it touches, it makes it smaller. Now Saturn, last time it was in your 9th house, it was 29 years ago, roughly. So this is a slow moving planet. It takes 29 to 30 years to come back to the same point in the chart, so make the whole wheel. Now, and it stays for 3 years, 3.5, roughly speaking. Now, 9th house is all about foreign related things, like relationships and also travel and people. And it seems like your world might become smaller when it moves into your 9th house. Especially travel might become unavailable for one or another reason. For example, like you gave birth and you have a baby, plus this is a responsibility, right? So Saturn brought responsibility, and you need to sit, let's say, at home or less travels. Your life is changing and it's becoming sort of small window, and you are busy with your baby at home, and you staying mostly at home, and this could be next 3 years, 2 to 3 years as a maternity leave or paternity sort of life. And nine house is actually big house, it's expansive, but Saturn is moving there now. Saturn makes it smaller, your vision to life in general, and there could be a little bit loss of a meaning of life, like a bit of a confusion there, because plus Neptune is also there together with Saturn. So it can give a little bit of a sort of losing yourself in time and space, and where you're moving kind of feelings. Now, Saturn in ninth house might give you also responsibility as becoming a professor or a teacher or maybe mentor. It might be that you will completely change what you do in life career wise, and you will become sort of like a guru or teacher, and a lot of people might follow you. Like Saturn gives you this presence of authority, presence of superiority, and a little bit of a sort of influence and a lot of respect. So it puts on your shoulder that sort of hat on your head of professor, someone who is being admired and followed and respected and also listened to. Now, ninth house, because it's about teachers and wisdom sharing, so you might become one, this kind of person who is sharing and teaching other people. Or you might go back to study, literally. Ninth house is about study, education, like higher education, universities. And for the next 3 years, you might start studying master's degree, for example, or PhD. Doing some research also. It's about sitting and long hours writing something, meticulously researching something, and maybe writing a paper or a book, because ninth house is about publishing. So for the next 3 years, you might publish some book, and it will be beneficial, and it's amazing. It will stay like a lot of years, and it might hit number one, like bestseller, for example, if you're gonna do that. And also, ninth house is about second marriages. If that's your case, you might get married. Saturn is about responsibility, so it's about no joke thing, no joke relationship. So if you are in a already second, let's say, relationship, then after your divorce, then it might give you marriage, like second marriage. Now, ninth house is also about legal affairs, any type of legal cases, processes, litigation, lawsuits. And here it's not advisable to go into lawsuit against anyone, because Saturn is a bit of a heart, and it might turn out very long, like all those 3 years while Saturn will be transiting, that case might end up closing only after 3 years, when Saturn moves out of your ninth house. And usually it's very hard to deal with, let's say, opponents, if you're gonna sue or you are being sued. So better not to involve into any legal battle during Saturn in your ninth house, my dear Leos. High chances to lose the case too. Now, documents, foreign affairs, immigration, again, this might become limited. Now, for some of you guys, it's not for all of you. It might even be beneficial. A lot of you guys, some of you guys might travel a lot, vice versa. Like Saturn, it comes in and checks if you've done your homework. And if you did that, then it rewards you. So it seems like depending on your natal chart, some of you guys might travel extensively. Plus, Saturn rules your sixth house of work, and it might be related to business travels. All next 3 years, you might quite extensively travel, like business-wise, and starting already from May, you will see the messages of Saturn. And for some of you, it's vice versa. It will shrink, sort of there will be limited travels if you've before been traveling a lot, and now for one or another reason you might be stuck. Now also it might give you this kind of work also, a sort of working online maybe to a foreign company, but then you're not traveling a lot. Or it could be giving the work like shift based work too. May 27th, we have this amazing new moon happening in your 11th house. Now, this is happening at 6 degrees. So those of you who are born 28th of July, plus or minus 5 days, you will be affected the most. Now, this is the reward from universe. End of May will be sugar sweet, and this new moon is amazing pitch on the sky. This new moon will conjunct Mercury, ruler of the new moon. Now, new moons are new energies, and it's happening in your expansive house 11 of future and wish and plans. It's blooming there. Pluto, planet of transformation and karma, is sending supportive beam to that new moon. Amazing one. Trine, the best aspect possible from your house of relationships. Seems like you might reach, your one of your dreams might come true around this new moon. You might reach some sort of collaboration with someone or agreement with someone. Like if your wish was to get a job offer, then you will get that job offer, around this end of May. Or if your wish to was go to travel somewhere or move somewhere, then again you will have all the resources to do so. Now Pluto is in your house of husbands and wives and long-term partners, and it might be that your sweetheart will be very supportive, or something happening in their life which will affect you, like that you wished for a long time something that let's say your husband or wife to get some better job option, or maybe to start a business with your one and only, whatever is that. So it could be also baby news, it can be also that you're pregnant. 11th house is about kids because it's located exactly opposite children's house, 5th house. So it seems like depending on your wish, so universe is granting that wish, my dear Leos. And it can be also related anyhow to karma. This new moon is amazing because all the karmic planets are supporting this new moon. Ruler of new moon, Mercury, will be in 11th house, and Mercury will receive amazing support from Saturn and Neptune, newly found in your 9th house of travels, of foreign affairs, and foreign relationships. Saturn rules your work and Neptune rules your money. So these two seems like it might be related to job offer that you've been waiting for yourself or for your sweetheart, or it could be about business partnership, or it might be about social media project, because 11th house is house of internet, online a world, and you might start amazing, let's say, page or YouTube page channel or Instagram page, which will be very fruitful and successful, my dear Leo. So use this end of May for whatever you wish for. Your wish is getting granted, or also you might get nominated, or sort of your friendship circle is expanding. 11th house is about friendships. New friend might be entering your life who will stay possibly forever, because all these karmic planets are here, and who speaks different language than you and from different background, cultural background. And also it's expanding your reach, to society, bigger society. It might be event, you might attend an event, or you will be holding some event here. So whatever you will be doing, it will have a huge impact on society, and you will be successful, my dear Leos. Always check your rising sign and moon sign, because they will all play out equally in our life usually. Love you all. Bye bye.